Howdy, y'all. Got ye a new pistol to look at today. Alright, so what is this? It's not new at all. You can kind of tell, and that's a giveaway. This is not a new pistol. This is a Pond Revolver from 1861. 1861 is an interesting year. It's pretty much the beginning of the American Civil War. This was built in Massachusetts by a gentleman, not a gentleman, by a guy named Lucius W. Pond. Lucius W. Pond grew up in the area. His family was into machining and making pretty much anything you can think of. So when he saw the opportunity to invest in firearms for the Civil War, him and a lot of other people decided that was a great idea. And this is his design, right? Some of you might also look at this and say, this looks kind of familiar. 32 ACP Rimfire. ACP is not ACP. 32 Rimfire. ACP is automatic Colt pistol. Never mind that. Anyways, 32 Rimfire. A cartridge actually designed by Smith & Wesson, and I'll show you a photo here of the Smith & Wesson gun. So the Smith & Wesson gun here is Model 1 and has a lot in common. Even the way the barrel breaks open is quite similar. I'll show you that in a second, but you can notice on the photo here there's a brass frame and a small axis plate on the side, and it has pretty much the same hammer. Hammer is slightly differently located, but overall design and the features are very similar looking. So going on to the way these actually open up. So here's a photo of the Smith & Wesson Model 1 broken open, and you can see it's hinged on the top strap there. Now I'm going to cut back to this guy here, and he actually opens in a similar way. You push the button and he opens, but if you notice, the hinge point is on the back, not the front like the Smith & Wesson. This makes for a much stronger design. So that was an improvement. That's something that I don't think would have violated any sort of copyright. So where did Lucius Pond get in trouble with this guy? Right here. These bored through cylinders. 1861, that patent was held by Smith & Wesson. It was the Roland White patent. Lucius didn't really care much for that pattern. He was very much a stubborn modern American. And he figured if it was out of patent in Europe, why would it not be out of patent here in North America? So I'm going to build this. I'm going to challenge it. I'm sure I'll get tons of sales before anything bad happens. Well, he wasn't right about that. So what ended up happening in 1870, Smith & Wesson finally won their lawsuit. And Lucius W. Pond had to hand over his entire inventory that was in his warehouse. The inventory consisted of 4,486 pistols. How many were produced before that, we don't really know. But after that point, Smith & Wesson would have rolled marked their patent information for the bore-through cylinders on top. I don't really know what that patent looks like and whose name is on it, but that's one way to tell it has the Smith & Wesson patent on it. These guys were available in a couple different lengths. The 4, 7, and the 4 or 7.5 inches. I'm not too sure what this one is actually, but my understanding is that changes quite a bit. This is the 4-inch one, so it's one of the smaller guys. It doesn't look it though. They're also available in two cartridge sizes, 32 Rimfire, which would be this one. Military parlances for that would be Navy. You also could get them in 44 Rimfire, which would be the Army. You'll notice that when you look at the old Colt cap and balls, there's the Army and Navy, and what they're really referring to isn't area of service, but it's just a quick way of talking the caliber. So, Lucius Pond, the guy who wanted everything and ended up with nothing. He lost his lawsuit, and he was forced to move to escape his creditors, and he moved to a little place here in Ontario, not too far from Toronto here. It's actually a really short drive. Hamilton, Ontario. He didn't stay very long. I don't know the exact length of time, but he decided that either they're bored or his creditors might have been catching up with him. So he hauled butt out to, he hauled butt out of Hamilton, as you can see here. Hamilton's not exactly a booming town at the time. I'd rather live there than Toronto, but regardless of that, he didn't want to live there, so he decided he was going to pull a Quigley. Nah, not that Quigley. Different Quigley. That's right, buddy. He decided to go to Australia. Unsuccessfully, oddly enough. A very determined detective tracked him down. I don't know how. In the 1870s, that's amazing detective work, but he caught him on the dock about to board the ship to Australia. Arrested him. He went to prison for some time. He was actually pardoned and released early. He went back, I believe he went back to making the pistols again, but this time he wanted to avoid getting sued all over, so he developed a pistol, the virtually identical pistol to this. I'll bring up a photo here. You'll notice that the ejector rod's a little bit different, and particularly the cylinder here. You can see there's little metal tubes, and the idea was you would shove a 22 in there, and then shove it into the front of the barrel, or front of the cylinder, avoiding the bored-through pattern. It's similar to like a teat-fired pistol, but it is a rim-fired. Too little, too late. Bigger, better things have come along, and he got left behind in all his designs. So this, he did his time. He got out, and he was getting old. He passed off his machining company off to his sons, and they took over. He died. Sorry, guys. Let me find out when he died here. Lucius Pond died in 1899, and is buried in Worcester Rural Cemetery in Worcester, Massachusetts. I love there's a quote in his obituary. The dead man had richly paid for the penalty of wrongdoing and bore the burden manfully. So, I don't know what to make of that. Basically, I'm a dick, but I'm sorry about it, guys. So that was the end of Lucius Pond. The revolvers, they exist. Most people don't know what they are. You can pick them up at a really good price. I'll show you some markings. There's not a lot. Each pistol can be a little bit different. Sometimes it'll be marked with Lucius Pond, or Pond Revolver. This one only has 2 markings that I can find, which is a serial number on the butt, and there's a serial number on the arbor as well. Beyond that, there's really no markings on this pistol, which is kind of indicative of a pistol that's a little bit clandestine, perhaps rushed for the war, but regardless, every pistol is interesting, and every pistol has its own story. And even if it's not the the 1878 that Wyatt Earp was carrying to the OK Corral, history is still interesting even without famous people. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll have a more in-depth video about disassembling and repairing this guy, and I hope you like both. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, guys. And please like and subscribe. I need you. Do it now.